is for the way women think.
The way women think.
That's correct.
Is that not a sop because of all the depravity you've done against young women? And your new sop is that their women's thinking is the future?
No, I've always believed that women would in fact be able to take over. I'm a firm believer and supporter of Time's Up.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga continues. In this chapter, the U.S. Virgin Islands is suing a major bank that backed the late child sex trafficker. This case could be big for banking with billionaires who engage in, let's say, not so legal activities. Welcome into TYT's Overruled. I'm your legal analyst, Adrienne Lawrence. The U.S. Attorney General for the U.S. Virgin Islands filed a suit accusing JP Chase Bank of turning a blind eye to the horrific sex crimes committed by former billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. The suit alleges that JP Morgan continued to fund the late financier after he was convicted of sex charges in 2008, failing to report his suspicious transactions. This per the New York Times. The lawsuit said the bank should have known about Mr. Epstein's illegal activities at a villa on Little St. James Island, an island he owned in the territory, and should have reported them to the authorities as part of its adherence to anti-money laundering laws. For 15 years, Epstein was a client of JP Morgan's high-end banking services. Now, this relationship continued even after the bank's employees had raised concerns about legal and reputational risk. It was only in 2013 that the bank dropped Epstein. And this isn't the first time that JP Morgan has been sued in connection with Epstein. His victims sued the bank and Deutsche Bank in November for allegedly facilitating Epstein's operation. This also isn't the first time the U.S. Virgin Islands has filed suit in connection with Epstein. In 2020, the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands sued his estate for civil racketeering, focusing on Epstein's efforts to traffic and abuse women and girls at Little St. James Island. Now, that case settled for around $105 million. Now, while that case was impactful, this case here that the U.S. Virgin Islands filed earlier this week is significant, mainly because it can change the way that banks do business with these billionaires. Basically, the case would hold a major bank accountable for continuing to profit from suspicious activities where there is good reason to know that those activities were involved with some kind of illegal behavior. JP Chase was effectively put on notice that Epstein's activities were illicit when in 2008 he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of soliciting prostitution from teenage girls. The lawsuit alleges JP Morgan facilitated and concealed wire and cash transactions that raised suspicion of and were in fact part of a criminal enterprise whose currency was the sexual servitude of dozens of women and girls in and beyond the Virgin Islands, the lawsuit said. If the VI is able to hold JP Morgan accountable for failing to report the suspicious activities, or to cut off Epstein, I should say, that would incentivize other banks to possibly reconsider their relationship with wealthy billionaires engaged in less than savory antics. The overarching question may end up being whether a private company is obligated to not look the other way when it suspects that it's dealing with the devil. But what do you think? You let me know in the comments below. Hit that like and follow button, and thanks for watching.